go round in the fantasy. What happened? Well, let's stop turning. Let's find out. Stealth QE for the banks. Rates need to stay high. Changing the CPI data. Insist it ain't a lie. Misdirection by the media. Keep everyone in line. Get yourself another loan. Everything will be just fine. Oops, tax increase. Peasants, how do you feel? Cost of living still okay, or can't afford your meal? Oops, credit delinquencies reach for the sky. Don't you dare to stop and think that this cake might be. Just work 3 part-time jobs on benefits. Try to make ends meet. You don't need a steady one to buy that mansion down the street. Some mortgages in a CD or pension funds will gobble up. And when the housing market does implode, bailouts will hit like a truck. Oops, tax increase. Peasants, how do you feel? Cost of living still okay, or can't afford your meal? Oops, credit delinquencies reaching for the sky. Don't you dare to stop and think this cake might be a lie. No lie. Let's rationalize rampant shoplifting. Make skin color a perk. Blocking all streets for climate change. People can't get to work. Endorse mostly peaceful protests, expecting shops to stay. Won't let you cry about the prices when they eventually move away. All the banks are safe and sound. Nothing will go wrong. Jobs gotta looking mighty fine. Economy holding strong. Stocks going up while producing less. Putting on a show. All but 3 companies in the S&P. Thanks for the carry, bro. Oops, tax increase. Peasants, how do you feel? Cost of living still okay, or can't afford your meal? Oops, credit delinquencies reaching for the sky. Don't you dare to stop and think this cake might be a lie. No lie. Camel Crew, don't get fooled. There's some crazy times ahead. Best to stay indoors for a while and focus on the windows instead. Stock up on supplies. Tell your close ones to do the same. Touch grass when in doubt. Put your hands up and put the future in a frame. Oops, tax increase. Peasants, how do you feel? Cost of living still okay, or can't afford your meal? Oops.
Dobrze, bardzo dobrze, świetnie. Hello, it's Camel. Hopefully you can hear me. What do we need? I don't even know anymore. I don't know like how many times I've done this and I can never ever fix it. Chat, let's try that. That'll do. Hopefully you can hear me. I can't see my chat though. Still the jankest live streamer. Bar none. Bar none. There's really no excuse at this point. Loud and clear. Thank you very much. I'm expecting a bunch of phone calls today, so hopefully it doesn't distract too much. But I basically have nothing to say, so I thought I would just hand it over to you guys. So thank you all for being here. And I will give you a quick 5-minute presentation, and then that will exhaust everything I have to say, really, because nothing has actually changed if you think about it, right? We have been... Sorry, I'm opening a bunch of stuff on my desktop here. Yeah, we've been saying the same things, waiting for something to happen, and it hasn't happened. Here's the link to the song, because somebody always asks. And yeah, then I'll just hop into the chat. So save your time for now. Don't bother typing anything just yet. I just wanted to show you a couple of things. I think this code is done now. I think everyone that could get a spot has got a spot. So I think I did see a comment saying it's all done. Yeah, I mean, you can always try. You never know. But I think it is gone anyway. So well done to everyone that got one of those for the slice. this is what I wanted to point out today, very briefly, and then we'll touch on this crack pipery here. And like I said, then we'll do some Q&A, okay? Because what I can see is a very tight squeeze here, okay? And you can see that when the Bollinger Bands pinch together, what comes next is a big expansive move, okay? Now, this is a measure of how tight the Bollinger Bands are, and when it's down the bottom like this, it means they're very, very tight relative to normal action, which means whatever happens next, whether it is up or down, is to be determined, but when it is revealed, it is going to be violent, okay? Now, the last time we were at similar levels was right here, okay? And that corresponded with a very violent 20% decline that took just about 12 weeks or something like that, if memory serves, okay? And if we go all the way back here, you can see that the other time we were this kind of level for Bollinger Band width was before this big push to the upside, and then we got the C19 plunge, okay? So you can see that it doesn't really predict direction, but it does tell us that volatility is soon coming, okay? As I often say, historic compression precedes historic expansion. So all I know is the move's going to be violent. Now, as I've been saying all week, I do not care which way it goes. Obviously, I am generally bullish, okay? I would probably rather it did actually go up, but it's not my job to try and convince anyone that I know. It's not my job to pretend or kid to myself that I know. It's my job to say, if it breaks that 7K level, we probably want to be long here, okay? And if it doesn't, and we continue to fail daily cycles and then target weekly cycle failure, then, well, unfortunately, that's the top of the 4-year cycle. And it's going to be pretty bearish for a little while longer, unfortunately. Now, I don't want to be bearish. I find bears very tiresome. Generally speaking, bears are nearly always wrong. But from time to time, if the market wants to roll over, okay, there's no point in me trying to force my will upon the market. So, as you can see, thank you for listening to my TED Talk, right? I have nothing else to say, really. It's interesting that we are just days away now from apparently having one of these sort of solar eclipse or lunar eclipse crashes, okay? It does fit with the cycles. A lot of people are saying the moon does drive the cycles. I don't really believe they're correlated. I've done tests on it before a long time ago. When I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, part of my job was to do statistical analysis on a bunch of different processes. And I used that software to test this theory, and I found that they are not correlated. The cycles that I trade have nothing to do with the moon cycles. So yeah, I tried it with a bunch of other things as well, and I don't know what drives them. I have no idea. I don't need to know. It kind of has led me to believe they're just sort of a code of the universe, like gravity or light or whatever else you want to call it. But yeah, if we're going to get a crash, it says we're going to get it by Monday or Tuesday. Okay, the high should be in Monday or Tuesday at the latest, and then it should be on our way down. And I don't know if I believe the whole moon idea, but I will say this again, as I've been saying all week. Okay, let's get my red pen out. This is a daily cycle low. We did poke below it. Okay, not the most convincing failure I've ever seen in my life, but a failure nonetheless. Then we kind of retested that level, lower high, and now it's looking like on a balanced probability something like this is coming. Now, if this comes, okay, whether it's this much or whether it looks more like this, fine, happy days. And I even think we can take kind of a hedge long position out of this low just in case. That's one way of looking at it, okay? The other way of looking at it, though, is if we do get some kind of decline down here, we are going to be extremely close to challenging weekly cycle failure. And if we get weekly cycle failure, that's it, the top is in, okay? And I would expect left translation and failure, and then off we go. And then when we zoom out, it will look a lot like this yellow squiggle because of the amount of compression in the Bollinger Bands. It might not be this much, but it will probably be a lot, okay? Now, I really, really hope it ends up looking more like this to the upside, okay? But we'll figure that out, okay, soon enough. There's also more mixed signals, as I've been saying all week, and none of these have been resolved yet, okay? The NASDAQ has a much more convincing failed cycle, lower high, okay? Still lower highs, really. Nothing convincing just yet. In my opinion, cycles are still down for a little while longer, till at least mid-March. And you can see that from the lows, as I've been saying as well, over and again, we're only a couple of % away from weekly cycle failure, where, again, if we were to see that, we would have to be assuming the top is in, according to cycle theory, for the 4-year cycle, okay? And we'd also be able to look at the Mag 7, which obviously is really propping up the entire stock market and has been for this entire bull run, looking like it's completing a breakdown here, right? Head and shoulders, we are, or something akin to that, something approximating a distribution or a rounding top or whatever you want to call it. Okay, breakdown, retest, possible resumption. If it does this, I struggle to see a world in which the majors don't follow soon after, okay? Now, at the same time, again, more and more warning signs in here, okay? We had the Pam Bondi Dow at 50 thou here, okay? And so far, a throw over before potentially breakdown, retest, resumption. It hasn't happened yet, And again, I get super bullish, expecting a massive vertical move and a big lockout rally. The lockout rally thumbnails will return if we can clear these prior highs and start to break higher, okay? But otherwise, we kind of have to say that was the bull trap before the 4-year cycle top and the bear market decline, okay? So again, if you're brand new here, hit subscribe and watch us handle this in real time, okay? And if you're not, then sorry I had to explain this for the 150th time this month. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do apart from say, I know it's about to go up or down. And when it does, I know that move is also going to be violent. And therefore, I want to trade whatever direction that is once it's revealed. But we know we're going to be stuck here pretty much until mid-March when the daily cycle lows form. And we know that our invalidation for all bullishness occurs at weekly cycle failure. And then the last thing we know is invalidation for all the bearish stuff occurs on fresh high breaks. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Gold and silver are still doing exactly what I thought. Okay, daily cycle low. We're approaching the window soon, aren't we? So we should get a pull back into the window and off we go, I hope. And then again, we're open to compressing into a triangle here. I don't think that's going to happen. And even if it does, I don't think it matters to us because we've still got a bunch of these mining ETFs which are blasting through to new highs now. Again, some sort of pullback into the daily cycle low window and then go makes a lot of sense. Getting close to that kind of time frame, start to look for a bit of a pullback. But I think ultimately these things are going to go to the moon and beyond. I think they've got one more kind of final blow off top move ahead of them. So again, okay, happy days there. At least we found something to be super bullish about, right? And then Bitcoin is probably, I hate to say it, leading the stock market, dare I say, right? Is that what's happening here? Are we on our way down to weekly cycle in the kind of middle of the year? Then a counter trend rally, and then down into the 4-year low. Ignore the numbers, okay? It doesn't mean we have to go this low at all. And it could even be a range from here, okay? It could be like this. That wouldn't surprise me at all. That would be like super bullish and healthy for the network. I don't think we'd lose too much hash rate there. But I don't believe the people that are calling for this to occur are correct at this moment in time. Again, I'd love to see it, right? And it would actually be better for me. But I just can't have that as my base case, again, as I've been saying over and again. So there's that. Is there anything else to say? I think despite this bearishness, especially in the member section, we're doing pretty well, aren't we? There's plenty of positions that we're underneath. There's plenty of ads that we've been making of late. They're also looking good. There's plenty of opportunities we're eyeing. It's just being a bit more cautious than we have been for the prior 3 years, okay? But, you know, the prior 3 years, we were early in the cycles. Now, not so much. Just worth noting that. Crack pipery for Monday or Tuesday. We get a big red candle today or Monday. You better believe I'm going to be full bore crack pipe camel on Monday. Okay. Anyway, I think that concludes my waffle. So I'll head into some comments. Crack this tinny open. It's a can of Coke. I'm not really a beer man anyway. Can't fit that many in me. Okay. And someone's always like, yeah, you shouldn't drink that. Bro, I guarantee it's fine. Okay, I can have a Coke a day. I can have 2 a day, probably. Sometimes you got to enjoy life. You can be too healthy. I'm in good shape too. Anyway, not that anyone cares or asked. So, 100x all in. Yeah. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. It's pretty nice to get like a little hour to myself. I'm like, let's go live. Aliens incoming? I think so. I do think so at some point. At least some sort of something pertaining to that as the mainstream idea. Anyway. Polymods, Polymarket. You guys have become real, like, I don't even know the word. Just super into Polymarket. Oh, for an update on that, by the way, the UK is launching prediction markets. And I think it's called something like Matchbook. I forget off the top of my head. Yeah, pretty sure it's Matchbook Predictions. And I keep emailing them or speaking to their little chatbot thing. And they told me that they should be launched by the end of February. But I asked them for an update and they said the end of May now. So, you know, rates are going to be at 0 by the time we can actually bet on them. But I really want it as like a little side quest for this channel, just to try to deposit some money in there and then like flip it for a bunch of economic bets. I think that'd be kind of a nice little side hustle for the channel, little side quest thing. But it's going to be months away apparently for some reason. So, but that's a little update on that for you. I am working on it. And I know people are always like, yeah, just use the VPN. But I really can't. Like, my accounts and everything are so heavily scrutinized that how would I, you know, if I made some money, I'd have to explain it. And then they'd be like, oh, you used a VPN to access an illegal betting site. Yeah, I don't want that. It's not worth it for me. Crackpipe Monday, Tinfoil Friday. Yeah, apparently so. What's up? Happy to see you. Thank you for being here. Finally made a live stream. Nice one, Block. Okay, I think I'm pretty far behind. Let me change this to live. I always forget to do this. How on earth are so many people able to tune in? That is a good point. Isn't it quite early? I've been up. I've not been sleeping at all lately. Yeah, it's only 10 o'clock. I've been up for hours at this point. Are we all the CEO of unemployed? Is that what it is? This is the unemployment crew. You're tuning in from work. Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, hopefully you can like wind down for the Friday. Fantastic day. Good. Have a fantastic day. Thank you, Crispy. I appreciate it. Positions positive, gold and short in MSTR. Yep, short MSTR is a nice trade. I'm kind of kicking myself for not taking that, but I don't know. You can't do everything. You're looking to get more heavily in gold, or would it be a good idea considering waiting for a pullback? Well, I mean, it really depends on many factors, but, you know, my read on gold is pretty obvious, I think, by now. I think we are setting the daily cycle lows as invalidation for bullishness. I think we're expecting one final high and then a whopping great correction. And, you know, silver just did a 40% downside correction in 1 or 2 candles. So I think it's pretty reasonable to say that we could maybe get another 60+% correction into the half cycle low in the 8-year cycle for silver. For gold, I think maybe 30 or 40% off the ultimate high will be a nice spot to get back in. I am actually, I'll say this, I've been talking to the members about this so they know, but I'm not sure if I've shared this with the main channel yet. The idea here is if this yellow squiggle is correct, or something approximately similar to this is what plays out, and then we kind of expect this, right? Here we go. Weekly cycle, so bomb, left trans, failure, half cycle low. Let's see how good my scribbles are. 40%? Yeah, I reckon so. Mate, how do I do it? Come on. How do I do it? Yeah, I think something like this is my base case at the moment, and we will be, not only, if this plays out, looking to sell here, okay? And when I say sell, I probably am not going to sell my physical, okay? But we'll be out of everything else, all the mining stocks and ETFs and individual stocks and that kind of thing. Okay, but instead of sell the physical here, I've decided to keep the physical stuff and go short. Okay, we're going to attempt to short this thing and then capture the downside via the futures or the paper markets. Okay, and then close the short here into the 4-year cycle low once it is, of course, confirmed with some trendline breaks. And, of course, the monthly Bressa cross and all of that stuff. Okay, the camel indicator picking it, the move above the 10-period SMA. All of the normal stuff applies here, okay, but we'll cover the short there and then use the profit from the short to buy more physical. That is the current game plan, which enables me to capture the downside without having to actually let go of the only money that really carries no counterparty risk and is outside of the system. You know what, actually? Let's leave that there. Should we see how close we can get? Let me have a good zoom out and see if we got it. Okay. Does this look right? Wait, let me channel my inner squiggle here. Yeah, all right. I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. So there you have it. Okay, that is the game plan. And the same will apply to silver as well. I don't know if I'll short silver. I don't really know. I don't really care, to be honest. The problem is, I say something like this, and people tune in, they hear that, and then they don't come back for a couple of weeks or months. And then I'll change my mind several times in the meantime. And they come back and go, well, what do you mean you're changing it to this? I thought last time I saw you, you said this. So, yeah, I don't know. I reserve the right to change my mind a bunch of times. But this is the current plan, okay? Short the top if we can. Obviously, it's very easy to say that, and it's a completely different thing to actually do it. If we get deflation and a massive dollar bid, wouldn't metals struggle as well? Yes, that's kind of what I expect this to be driven by. And if you think about it, this is really just the inverse of the scribble that we drew on the Dixie, right? The Dixie, we're looking for a quick breakdown, fake breakdown into the 3-year low and then a big dollar rally. Okay, so we're actually looking for this in the Dixie, aren't we? Minus this bit at the end, okay? And what does that look like on this chart? There you go. A big fake breakdown, 3-year low off to deflation, okay? So yeah, I think it fits. I think it fits with a lot of other charts as well. Okay, if this is going to happen, you might get that as kind of weekly cycle bounces in Bitcoin and stuff, maybe. Maybe it happens a little bit later in the year, okay? And, you know, the stocks may or may not kind of spill with the Dixie, and then people will really work out the market has topped and start fleeing risk into the dollar, and that helps drive this. And that's kind of been the expectation, but we'll see. Thanks for a year's worth of advice. I don't give advice, but... If it worked, right? You're able to sidestep the current bear and actually not give my gains back. Thank you. Well done, Papsy. Well done. Nice work. Please do the gold 8-year. I think we kind of did that, right? Like, after the 4-year low here, then we're just kind of looking for, dare I say it, this again, aren't we? That's kind of my expectation. And even this is not bullish enough. Really, it was still not really meeting my targets like this. So a lot of people will say, yeah, right, that's impossible. We'll see. We will see. But I don't want to focus on that yet, because there is still a lot of work to do, right? If this is happening, then we need to focus on getting out near enough the top to call at the top with all the other positions. If this is happening, then we got shorts to manage, okay, and places to add potentially on the way down. And then we got a big buy setup down here. Okay, across the board, lots of mining stocks, lots of individual companies, that kind of thing. I've got a bigger list than I did last time at the, wherever it was, this low back here. So there's lots of stuff to do before we start shopping for Lambos and helicopters and whatever else you're going to spend your money on, a harem of women. When the Dixie has to make a cycle low, does it not pump risk assets like the stocks? Well, in theory, dollar down, risk assets up, but it's not always the case. And we saw the inverse, remember, because the Dixie got a massive bid several times this cycle, like all the way through here. Everything risk ran with the Dixie. And that happened a couple of times. So it's not always a inverse one-to-one relationship. Do Tao for me. JK. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the JK part. Although you've got the crown currently, number one. I'm not really sure what that means, but we'll do it because you've got the crown, right? Tao, I mean, I think there's more of the chart somewhere. Is this even the right one? Yeah. Sorry, bro. What am I supposed to do with this? We are not. Please don't everyone go asking for a bunch of these, though. Unless you've got the crown. If you've got the crown, you can do it. I don't even... All right, enough of that. Oh, no. What have I done? Okay. I think you might want to take a look at the 2-year. Mightn't I? Why would you say that? Oh, yeah, okay. Tell that to the bond market. Cool. How's the Bob going? Best wishes for all. Thank you, bro. He's become a pain to live with again. I'm noticing there's cycles to the baby stuff. He sort of goes through a good vibes period. And then I don't know if it's growing pains or teething, or maybe now he's just about smart enough to try to know what he wants to do, but not got the mobility to do it. So we're currently in this phase of he's just gritting his teeth and clenching his fists and being like, "Grrr!" all the time. But he's really, I think, just a couple of days away from crawling, which means hopefully then he can see the stuff he wants and go and get it. And then I think hopefully some frustration will be dialed back. But yeah, he's just a bit hard work at the moment in a funny way, but he just gets super frustrated at everything. And I think it's just because he knows what he wants, but he can't communicate what he wants. But other than that, yeah, everything is going great. Thank you. Nothing new in the market. Let's get out of tinfoil hat. I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing here, to be fair. 10 a.m. whiskey and Coke under the illusion of normal Coke. No whiskey today. No whiskey. I've got to go and pick my mum up at 5 o'clock, so I need to be sober enough to drive. What's the dog doing? Sleeping behind me. Aren't you, mate? All right? Yeah, no changes to the dog. Maybe on the third Coke today. Yep. Oh, God, I'm really far behind these comments, aren't I? Give us some wise life advice, uncle. I don't know if I'm the guy you want to take life advice from, I can tell you that. We've had 3 death crosses at this time, followed by a crash. Okay, huge collapse incoming, and yes, the Looney cycle in Iran. I keep seeing Iran, and I have got to say, like, I have been practicing what I preach recently about cycles in control, everything else is narrative. People were asking me about Jane Street. I honestly have no idea what that is. I don't know about this Iran thing. I keep seeing Mexico. I don't know if that's been and gone. I don't know what the narrative is, okay, apart from the aliens one. That one is interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know. Cycles are in control, and we'll let everyone else worry about whatever else is going on. You had a dream that I accidentally did a face reveal. Well, I haven't even got a camera, so I think it'd be pretty hard. I hope I look good in the dream. Thoughts on Fed rate cut? I mean, if we keep moving down like this in the yields, we're going to see a violent repricing. But the question is, do we kind of get to that 3.8 level on the 10-year and then have a massive counter trend rally and delay it or not? That is to be determined. Why is it that the current sell-off in majors cannot be attributed to AI investments? Well, I think, first of all, the majors aren't even really selling off. What's happening here is remarkable because you've got the likes of the Mag 7, like Amazon, okay, doing this. You've got Microsoft, again, doing this, right? Like pretty much all of them look pretty bad. There's a bunch of others that we could do, but you get the point, right? A bunch of these kind of big companies look like this. And yet the stock market is a couple of % off its highs. So this is remarkable, okay? But typically this is what happens before the chickens come home to roost. And that's why I'm kind of a little bit concerned about what I'm seeing here. As for AI, I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to talk to because I don't really care for AI or pay much attention to it. But yeah. Chew trying to shadow ban. Why would they do that? I don't think they do. I don't think they will. PTSD from the poly market. Maybe. Bonus of being a builder in the UK with no work. You get to see the camel. Is that a weather thing? I'm glad you're watching, bro. Friday night here. Enjoy your beer. Nice. Sitting with a broken leg. How did you break your leg? If you could get in on poly market, well, I can't, right? As I often say, if my Staffy had a long neck, he'd be a giraffe. But no, I can't bet on poly market because I live in the UK. You're also at work. Good stuff. I see a bunch of you slacking off today. That Friday feeling. Mara gapped up a little. Sounds like some tape slavery, brother. A lot of the miners look a bit better. I will say this, like Riot's looking okay, isn't it? You know, higher low, higher low, higher high. We just got to get above here, and then we got to change the behavior. You could buy a higher low, okay, if it can do it. But still at risk so far of lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. That would kind of fit, wouldn't it? I would be thinking if you're going to get a good bounce, it's got to be in the middle of the year out of that weekly cycle low. But if it wants to go from here, higher high above here, higher low, buying strength, cycle low in here, structure the trade, manage the risk. Okay, that's fine with me. But notice the difference in that arbitrary yellow squivel scenario. Wait, there. Okay, notice how we're basically getting in at the exact same price. Okay, more or less. But look at the difference in buying this, not having a clue if it's about to roll over from here and reject to make new lows, versus this, where, especially when timed with a cycle low and we've got structural changes, this is a high probability setup. So this I got no problem with, paying a couple of bucks more for a high probability, high quality setup with an area on the chart to manage the risk around. Okay, I got no problem with that. But do I want to buy this right here and hope? I don't think so. So we'll see. But yeah, I will agree that a lot of these are actually slowly improving and looking better. Some of them are not. Like MicroStrategy doesn't really look like it's ever coming back at this point. Obviously, I think it is, but it just doesn't look like that. Marathon, I don't know, man. Like, oh, that's quite a nice gap, I suppose. But it is still massively broken down, isn't it? And then, you know, until we get a change in behavior and structure, you can't really be super bullish with this, I don't think. You can always try to catch the knife, but that's not my style either. We'll see, right? We'll see. 10-year dropping nicely. How far down is the 10-year? 3.9. So I think I've been saying 3.8-ish should secure the rate cuts, which seems like kind of a long way down. That'd be a pretty violent move. I'm just be thinking there's got to be a counter trend rally first and then down. But if we can get below these lows, I think we'll see that reprice occur. What's my plan for offloading the Bitcoin spot? Your base case is that you're looking for a bounce to 80k. I mean, something like that would be okay with me. At the moment, I kind of like holding the spot because I'm pretty much all the way out because I've got the all the crypto stocks are gone. So I kind of like can't really screw up. I've already outperformed the benchmark, which is Bitcoin this cycle, and then I've just kept some spot here. And the spot is, you got to keep in mind, because my entry was so close to the lows here, my spot's still up about 300%, maybe just under now. So, but if I sell it and then we get the unthinkable, then I've got no exposure and I'm forced to go chasing. Whereas if I just keep this, then I can't really lose, because worst case scenario, we do something like this, 4-year cycle low, and we just allocate back down here, okay, with the money we took from the crypto stocks, fine, okay, we end up with way more Bitcoin, another higher low, another macro higher low, and off we go. And just on the off chance that something like this happens, okay, then I don't have to chase it. We can just say, okay, we sold the top, we get another chance at it. Or even if it does something like this, okay, like real traders in the group will know that I fumbled the bag. Even if we did this and I sold 110k, right? Real people, real traders will know that I fumbled the bag and got lucky, okay? But everyone else on YouTube and that just passes through here for a hobby or because they think they can catch a pump or whatever it is, they'll think I'm one of the greatest ever that knew to hang on here and sell the lower high bounce, right, or whatever. So I'm positioned for that if it's coming, and this just enables me to relax because I know no matter what, I've got some exposure here, right? If it's going to rip, it's going to rip, and if not, fine. Then we've already kind of secured the bag more or less anyway. But it would make sense to kind of go back to 80k to retest the underside of the failed cycle. That would make sense from a cycle perspective, but it doesn't really make sense from a Bitcoin perspective, right? Like essentially that weekly cycle failure is this level here for the last bear market. Wait, let me try and draw this a bit straighter. Okay, and you can see that we did almost come back and retest it. If I zoom in, let's actually draw a proper horizontal level here. Okay, like we almost came back to it, but we didn't quite make it. Okay, so maybe something like that is more realistic than actually expecting us to kiss it. I know I'm seeing a lot of people calling for an 85k retest and then down, but again, I'm not really convinced we're going to get it here. I kind of think the max pain trade would be, I mean, it did it here as well. Low, retest, down again. So that is pretty typical, but I'm not sure we're going to get it this time. Are we really going to get this or even this to 85 and then down? It would be normal from a cycle perspective, as I said a million times, but I think the pain trade here is just this. Weekly cycle, then a rally, and then down. Probably not even that much though. But I mean, like I kind of said with with a physical gold right at the start, I think I just want to keep the physical, and then we can always short if we want to catch the downside. But I kind of like having some money outside the system because almost, as the members know, almost the all of the long-term and short-term accounts are in cash. There's hardly any exposure. We've just got like some metals trades and then 1 and 2 random bits like the semiconductors position or whatever. So I kind of want to keep some of that money outside of the system. By all means, if you get the retest of 80k or you can pierce through it and then get a trend line break, okay, then if you want to lighten up spot, that is typically a good place to do it. Get something like this, okay, sell the trend line break. But probably by the time you get there, it's, especially if you're looking around on Twitter, most people are going to be convinced that that was all a big trap and that's the end of the bear market and it's off to new highs and it's a 5-year cycle and all the rest of it. So I think it'd probably be a lot harder to sell that than people realize. But yeah, something like that would work. When option for life on indicator soon, we're trying to like, it's really difficult. We're trying to sort a bunch of things out all at the same time. But it is coming soon. I would think it won't be more than a couple of months away. Vix woke up with morning wood, did it? Nah, not really. Any thoughts on Super Guppy? I haven't checked it in a while. So no strong opinion. Members meet up on the table. I don't know. Thank you, brother Mark. You like the game plan for gold? Yeah. So I think holding it gives you the best of both worlds, right? Have I a crown, Winston? No, you don't. This guy does here. What are you missing? US 10-year, 2-year indicates the top. Does it? If the US 10-year is recession fear and the US 2-year is Fed pivot, shouldn't it be the other way around? I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm not sure why does the 10-year... Oh, you mean the yield curve? Oh, this is the chicken and egg question. That's what you're asking. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, does the recession cause the inverted yield curve? Or does the inversion in the yields blowing out cause the recession? That is an age-old philosophical question that no one has the answer to. Nope. Lol. What do I think about looking at the other indexes? I don't track any of them, mate. I don't track any of them. For the simple reason, I feel like it just makes my life more difficult. Like the US has got better trading hours, it's got better liquidity, and it's got consistent cycles. And the US is kind of the pace setter, right? What the US does, the rest of the world follows. What's the old saying? Where if the US sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. So for me, it's just like a consistency thing. Like there might be other opportunities elsewhere, but I just like the consistency and making my life as easy as possible because trading's already hard, right? It's already hard enough. If you were to start again from scratch, how much capital would you say you need to be able to confidently earn 3K a month? Well, that's not really how it works. You have to kind of do it on an annualized basis. But if you've got 300K and you want to make 30K, you need 10% a year, right? If you can trade 20% a year, then you need half of 300K and so on and so forth. What about aliens? I don't know. No updates just yet. I'm seeing more and more stuff trickle out in the news, but nothing concrete. That's the problem. It's still just this like drip feeding process. I do notice a bunch of people don't care either. And they can't seem to switch the normies onto it to actually care enough yet. Could I ask what is this? Well, the VIX, I just said if it goes sub 12, you got to buy it. But it doesn't look like... This looks like a lead-in before an acceleration, to be honest. But I don't really care because we got short the stock market instead. So if this is going to spike, then we'll make money on the short for this S&P. FTSE keeps going up. Well, it's about time because it's been sideways for 15 years. Put a Bitcoin chart over this one. I don't know about this. Short when cycles fail. If you want to short, feel free. What's my opinion on the Nikkei? No opinion. UK is too cold for a camel. It's not that bad here. Work slacker 2. Good stuff. The death crosses are cyclical. And we just crossed 33 days average dump. Thought you might find that interesting. Oh, okay. I think I just misunderstood you before, probably. Bitcoin is going down since you went live. I mean, they're probably watching the show, right? They're probably short and weak till it's unreasonable to do so. Yep, sounds great. Thanks, bro. The Dutch are going back to the drawing board for that horrible unrealized cap gains. Good, good. I think the FTSE 100 will outperform the rest of the rotation. I don't know. I'm not tracking it. And I'm certainly not chasing it now. It's like in a straight line vertical. So can we do MSTR? We kind of did it. No changes. Just chilling, letting it do its thing. So far, 0 by June. Yeah, I don't think it will go to 0. I think it's pretty much done most of its decline. And it will either go sideways from here or it'll have a little pop up and then go down to that $35 hyperwave target. Bottom in MicroStrategy before October. I don't know. I reckon, is it going to lead? I reckon it might lag. I don't know why I say that. Do I think Wolf could outperform independent of Bitcoin? Yeah, if the chart wants to break out, it can break out. Yep. If your grandma had wheels, she would have been a bike. True. What's my opinion on oil? Oil is about to go down. So, oh gosh, thank you for the 100 AEDs. My opinion on oil is not changed since the top, really. I still think we're doing this. And I think this is another breakout people are getting excited about. And I said over and again, I think we can sweep this this high from back here. So I wouldn't be surprised if it actually ends up looking like this. Something like this. And then down. But ultimately, I still think the cycles are yet to bottom on the macro time frame. You just sold your rental and you're going to send it into Bitcoin. Okay, best of luck. Do I read about the large amount of ETH and Bitcoin options? No, I hear all this stuff all the time. I never pay any attention to it. Triple witching or whatever it's called. What does that even mean, bro? Does triple witching make you a better trader? I'm not convinced it does. Do I still follow the box approach? What made you switch to cycles? Yeah, I used a box trade on Wolf recently. What made me switch to cycles? I just do better with cycles. Boxes throw too many fake outs for my liking. When oil to 0, end of this year. I don't think it's going to go negative this time because I think this whole thing is like a macro 1 and 2. And then we got the 3 catalyzed by QE, which I think will be insane. That's the idea anyway. You live in the US and you see aliens at Walmart all the time. If you're subscribed and use the indicator, can you still use it if you decide to cancel the membership at some point? I'm not sure what you mean by membership. The subscription or subscription in this context. If you use the indicator, you have to pay for it, right? And if you stop paying for it, you'll lose access to it. That's generally how paid subscriptions operate. There is going to be a lifetime package, as we said earlier, so you'll be able to buy a one-time payment, which will obviously be more expensive, but it will save you money in the long run if you actually want to have it forever. And it will secure against any updates and stuff that come along in the future. So there's that too. I was kind of surprised, actually. A lot of people asked for it. We weren't going to do it, but quite a lot of people have said they really don't like having to renew the subscriptions and stuff. So fair enough. What do I think about AUD this year? Nothing really. Do I even lift, bro? No, not really. Are you planning to have a collab with Sonny? There's lots of people I've been trying to fit in, but I'm right in the middle of moving house at the moment, and it's just that just eats up so much time. Minda misread my post about Polymarket. Camel can stand the cold because he's a reptilian. Caribbean. What? What? Reptilians can't heat their own body. They need more sun, right? If you got a lot of money right now, where would you put it? How am I supposed to answer this, bro? I mean, you can see where I would put my money. You can see, you know, like I have a full transparency model. Everyone knows what positions I hold and what I don't hold. Everyone knows where I got my short-term trades on and where the stop loss is. So, you know, that's where I'd put it, where it already is. Have I ever ridden on a camel? No. No. Thoughts on TLT? Bottomed, in my humble opinion. Probably going to range sideways a little bit, hoping to add on pullbacks. And then I think it's moon time. But of course, moon time in TLT is usually a bad thing for everything else. So, have I noticed that it's important how you phrase a question to not be ignored? So I try again. No, I disagree. I don't think it's how you phrase it. I think it's whatever my eye is drawn to that it lands on. Right now, it's moving pretty slow, so I can just kind of catch most of them. Camel, could you put the Bitcoin chart over gold divided by copper and see the correlation, please? That's what I read last time. Each top marks the Bitcoin bottom. Yeah, but like I said before, like I don't really care for the gold to copper ratio. I'm not a big believer in it. Viking sheep with 4 horns have returned from near extinction. Is that true? Bro, like what? You guys are, I don't even know. Do I think the next 4-year cycle in Bitcoin will left translate? Yes, I do. The past 2 cycles look like they're getting closer and closer to left translate. And well, this cycle, the altcoins, I think mostly did left translate. I think in terms of sentiment, we left translated because during that first kind of left translation peak and when the altcoins are blowing off. Well, I was literally thinking about this morning on my dog walk. We had all that meme coin stuff. We had people on Pump Fund, like children rugging each other and doing all kinds of degenerate stuff. Pump Fund had to be closed down because it got so bad. You know what I mean? We got like Trump and Melina coin or Melinda or whatever her name is. There was like all sorts of presidential level rug pulls. The guy from, is it Argentina with no crying at the casino? Like all of that happened around the left translated time frame for the peak. And then it just so happened that Bitcoin went on to sneak in another high. But I think sentiment-wise, we did actually left translate this cycle. But I think we'll probably see it next cycle. I don't know. We'll find out, right? We'll find out. Do I plan on opening or sharing shorts in your group when direction is more clear or just wait into long? I mean, we've already started. We've got a couple of shorts already. I'm just not a big short seller. And I just kind of like to stay in my lane. That's why. Like, I'm very experienced in buying cycle lows and trade into the long side. And I, relatively speaking, am not very experienced in short selling. I just haven't short sold that much. So, you know, I could pretend like, oh yeah, you just go short. But like I have an entire system built around going long and managing the longs, right? I don't really have much experience shorting. So I feel like I'm kind of surfing against the tide when I'm shorting. But I have got a few shorts on. I'm just kind of, I don't know, it's just not in my nature to be super short. There's not that many times when shorts are better than longs, in my experience. But what's my take on the whole Jane Street? Yeah, like I said a minute ago, I have no idea. I don't even know what it is. I've seen, all I know is it's something to do with manipulation, I think, but I could be wrong about that. And, you know, everything's manipulated all the time, so that's fine. Long-term accounts, you say 5% per trade. No, I don't. 10% allocation. No, I think you've misunderstood. When HYG, don't know, don't care. Face reveal, no thanks. If you buy a lifetime subscription, what's your key man policy? What's key man? The alpha that the indicator generates is easily justifies the subscription model with the current price. Okay, thank you, bro. I'm glad you think so. Most people seem to. The Trustpilot reviews are good and the retention is good. And we keep making it better as well. It is getting more and more powerful. People are even noticing. I had people reach out to me and say, hey, you continuing to work on it because it seems to be getting better and better. So yeah, we do continue to work on it. And like I said, we got the back testing data. That's like the next major thing for us, because it's one thing taking my word for it or using it yourself, but it's another thing to actually say, here's the data. No one can argue with it. So that's kind of the next big focus for us. The top indicator as well, and a bunch of bonus indicators, they're all sort of close, getting closer by the day. There's actually a big team behind it. There's sort of, I think we're at 9 or so members of staff. So there's a lot of manpower going into it. Your view on... Oh, what have I done? Emerging market ETF. I mean, it's breaking out. That's all I really know. Again, I can only trade so many things. So you buy camel milk. Okay. Tony is another one I really want to get on. I really want to do a collab with Tony, but like I said, I just can't fit it in. I need to catch up with chemo as well. Really, really badly need to catch up with chemo. Are you daggering? No. You watch some farming simulator. Okay. Have you seen the capybara simulator? I'm not a gamer, but that looks like a game that we could do live. I think there's no aim of the game. You just walk around in a meditative state being a capybara. It speaks to where we are in the world. When the world is so chaotic that they're building games that are being well received and hyped, and all the game is you just live life as a peaceful capybara, wandering around, enjoying the sunset. Like, it tells you how chaotic this world is at the moment, when like that's the thing people are excited about. So I even saw Conor McGregor tweet about it. It's something like, "Take my money." So, hilarious. What's my typical day look like when you were coming up? Pretty much the same as now. Like when I first started, it was just I had a full-time job, obviously, and so it looked quite different. But then as I transitioned to full-time unemployment, aka trading, it looks pretty much the same as it looks now, to be fair. Just I probably was a bit more of a tape slave, and I did a lot more research and sort of back testing and learning than I do these days. There was a lot more hours of study and just trying to be a sponge and absorb as much as I could. These days I'm a lot more sort of set and forget about things, and I've got, you know, a family and all this other stuff to take care of, so, and enjoy, which I enjoy doing. But yeah, not trying to rush it's the main thing. Just go slow, right? This is like risk management summarized in as few words as possible is like this, okay? If you keep your risk per trade managed and standardized, okay, and you never accept big losses and you only take quality setups that are within your own parameters, okay, your equity curve should look something like this, okay? And this can take you like 10 years or more, okay, to actually build up to a nice big fat number, but it's worth 10 years because when you get here, okay, everything is lovely, okay? But if you don't manage risk, okay, then even if you get here, after 10 years of grind, in one or two trades, you could be back down here. And then that entire 10-year period was for absolutely nothing, okay? And you just wasted your entire life doing what, okay? All because you just got degenerate and didn't manage risk. So just focus on managing risk here, because you're only ever a couple of steps away from ruining your entire account, okay? The only shortcut in finance is from the top to the bottom, right? That's it. That's the only shortcut there is. And it's from the top to the gutter. So that's all you have to do. Just manage the risk, okay? Just stop taking large losses, because otherwise, even if you're a new trader and you've got 2 years experience and your account looks okay, there's a few swings in it, but generally speaking, it's up and to the right, okay? If you haven't got risk management dialed, then you're 1 or 2 trades away from being back down here. And even if you've only been doing it a year or two, then you've got plenty of time, okay? Maybe especially if you're younger, you've got plenty of time to come back and apply the risk management and start again. But if you've already invested 2 years and you're in the green, don't waste those 2 years by having a couple of big losses, okay? Just manage the risk. And that's it. So focus on that, focus on going slow, quality over quantity. And it is surprising how achievable it is, really. It's just because if you really think about it, like, most people are just not going to do that. Most people, as they're hearing this, are like, yeah, I'll do that after I've already made 1 or 2 big trades. It's just, I've got a small account now, so I want to grow that account quickly, and then I'll manage risk, right? They just always have some excuse, some reason. Like, yeah, well, I could do that, and I do for a few trades, but then I just can't help myself. I just do it anyway because I just love the thrill of it. It's like, okay, fine, but just go to the casino and do that. Like, you got better odds. Just go on red or black on roulette. You got way better odds, you know? So 99% of people will just behave that way. And if you can just decide, like, actually, no, I'm not going to behave that way, you will instantly a far better trader than most people could ever live up to. Camel, looking at the camel indicator in the bracelet, it looks like the 10 years due a bottom shortly. Yeah, I'd be careful using the indicator on yields, because yields are essentially inverted bond charts, and thus the yields move around a lot in terms of translation. So I think you'd be better using the bonds and apply the indicator to that. Any fishing trips planned so we can find a bottom? No, there is one mid-March though, which is actually right in time for the daily cycle lows. So I'll warn you when that's confirmed, and I'll let you know the exact date. How are we doing for time? 55 minutes. Okay, not too bad. Is the cutoff for left translation for Bitcoin the end of 2028? Yeah, pretty much. It would be like the 2-year mark. Late 2028. The Jane Street is they shorted Bitcoin futures as an authorized participant, created and bought IBIT shares, then sold spot IBIT into the market to pressure price. Okay. Just like they do with every other commodity on earth. But they can just get away with it because it's a smaller market cap. Like, you need quite a lot of size to shove gold around like that. But you know what they're doing it for, though, right? This is good news. It's not bad news. This is good news. Why are they doing this? Because they want to suppress the price. Why do they want to suppress the price? So they can buy more. Why? Because then they're going to pump the thing to Valhalla and beyond. So it's a good thing. Let them do it and just get on the same side as Jane Street, right? Like, buy more Bitcoin when it's suppressed. Wait for the 4-year lows and blow your wad into it, which is a weird thing to say. Should it next cycle perform more similarly to C19? Depends. It depends on the timing, doesn't it? Hey, Red or Black, how you doing? You wonder if the word crypto comes from Egypt. I don't know. I wouldn't know about that. Keyman is basically a life insurance policy for key people in business to shareholders in case they die. Oh, that will be handled by Variance and Ben's team. So I wouldn't have anything to do with that, but I'm sure Ben and that have got that covered. Would you rather fight a one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I think I'll be fine in either case. Ducks have hollow bones and they're pretty light, right? They can't generate a lot of explosive kinetic energy. So I think a horse-sized duck, I could probably get its neck pretty quickly, I would think. And 100 duck-sized horses, I think I could grab one and beat the other 99 to death with the one I'm holding. So I think we'd be okay in either situation, I'm guessing. You mentioned some indicator users have inverted the chart and use it to sell tops and short. Some people have. Yeah, people use that tool in some of the craziest ways. Like, everyone uses it completely differently. And I guess that's true of a lot of different indicators as well. You know, like you find one person that uses an RSI and they buy it oversold and sell overbought. You'll find another person that looks for divergences there. You'll find another person that, you know, draws trend lines on them and waits for breakouts or on lower time frames or whatever. So there's a million ways to do it. And yeah, people do get extremely creative with the indicator, because the thing is, I only show this, right? This is what people see when I use it. But I use about 5% of what it actually does. If you go into the settings on this thing, you know, this thing does so much, okay? Like, there's macro windows, there's cycle counts, there's like all these other windows that pop up here to tell you average counts and the ranges and the amount of days since the last lows. Okay, this is all the data table, Powell's tie and all that stuff. You can fine tune it, apply a custom count. You can take one of these counts that are already programmed in and apply it over the top of your asset in case the default settings don't work super well, which for some stranger asset classes they don't. So that's what this is there for. Okay, you can make subtle adjustments to the count. Okay, you can change all of this stuff. You can add EMAs. You can add so this is the cycle low button. Okay, you can change all the look of it. Okay, but you can also add the confluence button. Okay, which will tell you how probabilistic based on momentum under the market the current low is being set up. You can add all the cycle numbers. There's this weird arc thing, like, which produces a sine waves, which gives you a visual representation of this. You can change like all this other stuff. You can add a moving average over the top. That's what this blue line is. Okay, and obviously change all of that. You can get it to give you the future window and where the daily, the weekly, and the yearly cycles are expected to form. And what else has this thing got? more and more and more, it will pick all the translation for you as well. Okay, so you can turn this on and it will tell you whether they are right translated, mid translated, or left translated daily cycles. It will add the midpoint if you want in between the cycles, show you where the translation cutoff points are. It will give you a cycle low range. Okay, so it will paint like green or red boxes depending on the translation of the cycle over the top. See, like this. It does loads. It does absolutely tons. And then it will also show you which lows have been cancelled, which have been updated, which have been unconfirmed, failed cycles. Okay, like you can have a confirmed button on here. So if you turn all of this stuff on, it actually gives you like an intense amount of data. And because I'm streaming, it might take a little while, okay? But you can see like all of these are very, very different signals. So I don't really need this because obviously I understand cycles very, very well. But if you're newer, then, you know, there's a whole heap of information that you can gain from this indicator that you don't really see when I use it. It will also tell you when you've got a pending cycle low, and you can get notifications to tell you when we're in the window for a low and we're about to see something show up pretty soon. What did I just do? There you go. Oh yeah, these are all the alerts down here. Okay, so that's cool as well. I mean, it does absolutely tons. Absolutely tons. You can get weekly cycle low alerts, pending weekly cycles, right? Like all of this stuff is built in. So it does, like I said, tons. And then of course there's the website, and on the website, since we're doing a full ad here, apparently, since we're doing this. By the way, on the homepage, if you scroll down, let's log in. So on the actual homepage, if you want to see how loads of different people use it, okay, you just scroll down and there's all of these videos here from different people showing you how they use it to set their trades up. And they're all different. They're completely different. Some people are using 15-minute candles. Some people are using, you know, completely different strategies. Some people have found ways to force it to, like, I think it's Icy Boy shows you how he uses a 4-hour cycle low with the indicator to screen for higher probability daily cycle lows. You know, like super creative ways of using it. And then, again, since we're doing the full advert, remember, you can go to the members hub here, okay? And there's absolutely tons of stuff on here. So there's all kinds of educational content. There's all kinds of guidebooks for how cycles work and how I use the trendline strategy. Like everything I have ever shown is here for you to go through and learn. And all of this stuff, you know, because you get a 2-week free trial, you can use it for free. So you can just come here for 2 weeks and then slurp all of this. And if you decide it's not for you, you can just leave with a bunch of free educational content. There's also a couple of pages for indicator updates, so you can see what we're doing behind the scenes and why we're doing it. There's a bunch of like chat rooms and forums so people can talk to each other, because generally speaking, a lot of people ask me things like, what broker do you recommend? And I never recommend any brokers or exchanges in case of an FTX repeat. But in here, people can help each other out and answer questions like, if, for example, oh, I live in Australia, like what's the ETF equivalent of this? And I don't know the answer, but there's a bunch of Aussies in here that do, right? There's all this kind of Q&A stuff. There is a bunch of the macro data things. So there's whole charts for things like unemployment and that kind of data, which we're still building out. There is, yeah, here's the data dashboard, right? So you can come here and find all of the price charts for CPI and unemployment rate and all of this jazz, and then it will load all of this up, right? So it does absolutely tons. There's the DCA calculators, live charts. Okay, there's a video search tool. So if you're ever like, oh, what was that video Camel made where he was talking about XYZ, you can search the entire database of the channel using this. There's a trading diary in here, which has all these like risk management calculators and a trading journal, and you can download all of this, okay, and make sure that your equity curve is going the right way and all of that kind of jazz. Like we really have put in so much. And then there's like spaces, member section, there's leaderboards, there's games, there's a meme generator. We're going to be adding more and more educational games for like children and stuff in here soonish. We just kind of had the first draft of a game to give to your kids so they can learn about finance. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, bro. We're doing a lot, and we're trying our best to make it available to everyone. So yeah, that is my huge advert, but we're very proud of it. Like it's a very, very, very powerful tool. You know, I don't care about the altcoins, but HBAR is actually performing better. Is it? Hey, FC. God, it's been ages, bro. How's the boy? How is it going, boy? Yeah, everything's good, bro. Everything is good. What determines whether the asset follows a cycle if company goes through public IPO and then gradually fades? Does that qualify as a cycle? It's difficult to do a cycle analysis on something with limited price history. So I would say be careful about that. Is buying land as an asset a long-term play for you? Not really. I don't like the idea because at least in this country, you're only ever like one government raid away from them just seizing all your stuff. So, I've got the deed to the land. Okay, cool. But like, here's the government with a stamped piece of paper that says it's theirs now. So I've never been super into it. I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's plenty of land around here that I could buy, and most of it's cheap because you can't really do nothing with it unless it's got like mains connections, and if it hasn't, often it costs hundreds of thousands of pounds to hook it up. But for me, it's not really a big concern of mine. SilJ is printing, and we're about to go Mad Max on pushing the buy button as well. Have I ever had a big hit on my account? Yeah, plenty of times in the early portion of my career. Aston Martin or Porsche. I own neither, actually. I was thinking about adding a Porsche to the collection, but I don't know yet. I've got to move house. And then when I move house, I've got to do a lot of work to the inside of it because I hated the way it looks. So I'm going to spend like a while and a lot of time putting it back to how it should be. But yeah, anyway, you might consider doing a collab with cryptocurrently. I don't know why I recognize his name. I think this is the guy that was ignoring a quarter of the data and then saying 4-year cycles don't exist. It might not have been him though. Oh no, that was on Chain Mind, I think. Yeah, I don't know who cryptocurrently is. Actually, I do recognize his name. I do recognize that. Every time you hear Baby Camel cry, I short Bitcoin. It works 100% of the time. You don't want to be sharing edge like that, bro. 420 people watching. That's bear market numbers. I'm not going to lie. Trading is my passion. You watch all the videos and learn. Good stuff. Any thoughts on what to do? Yeah, just set and forget, right? Keep the risk managed. Let it build over time. You don't have to be staring at the chart. Risk management, not casino spins. Yeah. Or if you want to be a gambler, just go to the casino. It's okay. Like, that's okay too. But don't waste your time gambling in markets where your odds are like 1 in 10 of winning. You might as well go to roulette where you've got just under 50%, right? Fast and easy 10x, and then you'll manage risk. Exactly. Can I tell us about SilJ buy strategy? No, not yet. I already pre-warned you that you got to let me cook. Can I explain the thesis on TLT? Wow, it looks bottomed. So there's that. There's also 7.5-year cycle, which has, I believe, bottomed. There is also the fact that the yields are coming off and that we're going to see rates slashed. So there's that. And then at the end of the year, we expect record QE, and the primary function is they print money to buy treasuries. So that should put an enormous bid under the bonds. Boom, TOT to the moon. But really, cycles are in control. 7.5-year cycle bottomed. Let's go. That's really as simple as that. And we added on the weekly cycle confirmation. So same stuff. Any other junior miners you recommend? I mean, I don't really recommend anything. Mad Max getting into approximate targets for TOT. I said like a sweep of that high at 150 or 160 could work, and it might. If we're lucky, we could maybe, I think 120 easy, okay? And if we're lucky, this high up here, I think could be taken. So we'll see. I mean, this has been a terrible bear market, hasn't it? So hopefully, nice big base, and we can see a nice push from here. But time will tell. It really depends on the scope of printing, I think, or the scale, I should say. Did I do TOT? Yeah, just now. So there you go. Should I have 2x leverage? Oh, you should have. I don't know. That's only true if it goes up, right? What if I'm wrong? Then you'll be thankful you didn't have 2x leverage. Just GDX new high change anything in terms of invalidation? No. We will set the new invalidation at the upcoming daily cycle low, though. So if we go back here, turn this on. Daily cycle low. Okay, retest, confirmation, blah, blah, blah. Probably expecting this. Daily cycle low. And then we'll set this daily cycle failure as the invalidation. So right now it's here, and again, we'll move it up to here pretty pronto after it confirms, I would think. Can I explain how you add leverage to a trade? Just go and watch the tutorial playlist, really. There's a whole video on leverage in there. Hey Mel, what's your strategy for taking money out of the accounts for living expenses? Just try to play a nice big 4-year cycle and then cash out and figure out how much I want to take out. Sometimes I pay myself like mid-year, like after that MicroStrategy trade, I took a big chunk because that trade went way further than I thought it would. But it changes. Sometimes it could be more often than that. Typically, on average, I would say it's like once every 6 months that I take something. And then like maybe at the end of every sort of 3 years, I have a massive rebalance and take a big chunk out. But it really depends. How did you come up with the idea of getting deep into cycle theory and build a successful business around it? I didn't really intend to build a successful business around it. I tried to share it, and it turns out it's quite valuable. And you can call it like law of attraction if you want, or I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe it was just that it happened that way. But yeah, I got fed up of watching YouTube and being like, these guys don't even trade. Like, I could just tell. I'm just watching their content. I'm like, yeah, it's fun, but they're just conning people. So I was like, let me make a channel and show you what trading actually looks like. And it just did really well. It just did really well. And along the way, people were like, hey, what about Patreon? And I was like, nah. And then all of a sudden, YouTube are like, hey, we just added Patreon built in, which is called the member section. So I was like, okay, let me try that. And that did really well. And I added a new layer of challenge to the whole thing. So I was like, okay, like challenge accepted. And then Ben from Variance reached out and was like, we think we can build you an indicator. And I was like, no, you can't. No chance. There's way too much nuance and sort of discretion that goes into it. And they were like, no, you don't understand our team. Like, let us have a go and see what we can do. So I was like, yeah, sure. Like, let's see. And they built a really good indicator. And I was like, wait, this thing actually is making me better at trading. Like, it's actually giving me a very strong confluence tool to add on top of my trading strategy. So I was like, okay, like, I approve of this. Okay, if it's going to make me better at trading, then I'll use it. You know? But if you go back to the very first video, you can see I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't want an indicator. Like, I basically said all of this stuff, and then it just kind of found its way here. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how it works, but I still haven't taken any shady exchange deals or anything like that, though. So there's that. I never made any meme coins, despite a lot of people wanting me to. I try to just provide value to the community, and I try to just share what I love doing. And I think that's why the channel is as successful as it is. I think that's why like we get as many views on this channel as some of the people with like 5, 6, 7, 800k subs, there or thereabouts. I think that the community is really strong and high quality because you can see that like I actually do this stuff, right? But yeah, it was never really my intention. I was like, let me just do this. Let me just see what happens. And yeah, and it worked out, I guess. I don't know. It became like a full-time hobby. But I tried to keep it available to everyone. Like, I'm still here doing 6 videos a week for free. So no one needs to pay for any services or anything like that. I'm still giving actionable setups just like we always were. I'm still talking about the positions we take like the next day and stuff like that. So I do my best, bro. I do my best. But it just was a lot more well received than I thought it would be. And it's really kind of mind-blowing and humbling at the same time because for many, many years, I ran around talking all the same stuff to everyone around me. And everyone was like, yeah, I don't care, bro. Like, who cares? And then one day I turned the camera on and started saying the same stuff. And suddenly people actually wanted to hear. And I thought I was just boring, bro. That's what I thought. I thought nobody cared what I had to say and no one ever was going to care about this information. And I was even starting to wonder if this information was even useful. And then all of a sudden you put it out into the universe or out into the internet. And it turns out that there was actually a bunch of people that care about this stuff as well. So that was really cool and super humbling. But yeah, it was never actually intended to be a business. It just kind of worked that way, I guess, because people saw value in it. How come the bond market goes down, but on CME it's priced 96 for no cuts? Well, the bond market is going up. The yields are going down. And they just haven't changed because it's the bond futures. But they haven't really, if you think about it, it's still in a range, isn't it? That's why. So like we are trading at levels that we were still trading at back on the 24th of November and in October and in late September. So you could really say this entire thing is a range of a deviation at the top. Okay. So this is all no man's land. Okay. We had a chance to be bullish, but we failed. And now we're going to have a chance to be bearish below. If we get below, then we can talk about rate cuts, right? But in the meantime, this is just one massive range that goes all the way back to September. So that's why nothing's repriced, because nothing is repriced. What do I think of Francis Hunt, the market sniper? I really like him. I don't follow his work super closely, but I see him about. I like his HVF method. I love that he's got his own system, the HVF thing. I don't trade it. I've never traded it, but I like it when people take that approach to markets. They kind of like grab stuff from other people. Like he's a CMT, I think. And they kind of find their own way, like their own way of their own style. Like I have my own like hybrid camel cycles and he's got his HVF and I like that. He's also super reset aware and stuff like that, which is cool. With spread betting pro accounts, you can go negative. You can. There's no negative equity protection either. Is that risk negated so long as you use stop losses? Yeah, pretty much. Any other risks to be aware of? All the same risks apply. It's just there's no one there to come and save you, really. And they will give you a lot more leverage. So there's that. What's my opinion of Hunter's 200 TLT target? Is it 200? I don't know. I always laugh at these targets. I always think they're too high, but most of them end up getting hit. So I'll take 200. If it's got 200 in it, I'll take it. If it wasn't for your channel, I'd probably never learned and studied how to trade properly using a strategy and risk management. Good. Good. Well, I'm glad you found it useful. Would it be a good idea to short NASDAQ? I mean, I wouldn't short it here. I would wait for a setup. Let Ben cook. What's Ben doing? Who's Ben? What did I miss? Hey, Camel, what about reality income? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. You found about a month ago and you're amazing. Thank you, bro. But all I do is show you what it looks like. It's down to you guys to actually put in the work and make it your own. Maybe aliens come for Bitcoin. Maybe. What was I doing before YouTube? Did you ever have a corporate? Yeah, I did. I was a successful scientist. Successful is a weird word. Like, I had a very impressive sounding job and a good CV, but I didn't really make any money. I think we were talking about this on the last live stream, actually, that like I had a bricklayer friend that was partying every day and making a lot more money than me. And I was like, what am I doing? So yeah, but on paper, I was very successful. Degree in chemistry, bunch of lab jobs, bunch of office jobs. Did I see Trump advocating to ban insider trading for Congress? Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about this for literally years, and we've not really made much progress on it, but it has been the expectation, of course, that we would see them do it. So I'm here for it if it's going to happen, but I've always said it's an expectation, not a requirement. It doesn't have to happen. We can top with or without that occurring. What do I think of Koosh? No opinion, really. Like, he was making some nice charts, and he's still making some nice charts. And he disagrees with me currently. We're in alignment for a long reason. He disagrees with me currently. I think he's a good guy, to be honest. And I don't think... is he permanently bullish or is he just convicted and is cool? Like, what makes a market is people have different ideas. So I think he's a good guy. I'll say that. I don't think he's out there, like, doing any harm. I think he's just posting the markets the way he sees it. And for a long time, he was a lot more right than a lot of people as well. A lot of people were perma bearish most of the way up, and he was one of the early people in to call the big moves, and he was right to be super bullish for a long time. It's just obviously I've flipped a bit more bearish, but I'll become super bullish again if we get some invalidations hit. I've never been to Germany, no. TLT to 200 would be nice. It would, for sure. Talking about a lost decade, I am. I mean, TLT is up like a 1 or 2% since our entry, so it's definitely not too late in the scheme of things. What's the next big reveal after Aliens? I don't know. Who is Ben? Let Bob cook. Oh, okay. Wait, who's Bob though? What were we talking about? I'm losing my mind here. Camel was the head of risk management at FTX. Yeah, I put that as a joke on one of those collab vids I did, and a lot of people thought it was serious, which was pretty funny. Lost decade, but if we have QE soon, how's that not a recipe for all-time highs? Well, because we can have a big bounce and just not break the highs, right? We can just go sideways in a range. I think I've seen Iman, actually. Iman trading. Yeah, I think I've seen him. I know you're not big on altcoins, but what do I think of ADA? I don't know. Charles is a dodgy guy there, I think. That's just my opinion, but I think he's into some weird things. And I think he's been caught lying about a few things in the past. I'm not... Yeah, I don't know. I find him to be unsettling. Hey, Camel, thanks for your answer on Slice. You broke your neck. Holy. Then found this channel, and through that you became profitable in trading and began to understand the simulation. Wow. Congratulations. I hope you do better, bro. You learned everything, how manipulated it is. Yep, for sure. Just remember that a lot of the suffering is like we choose. Obviously, you didn't choose your broken neck, but we don't have to worry about it and concern ourselves with all this crazy stuff that's going on. Is further trade on these two? Yes, just by the daily cycle low. Oh, bless you, bro. Self-empowerment is king. 100%. Yeah, 100% for sure. Oh, we're going... Wait. Thanks, mate. Boomers, stay boomers. I've learned so much from you. Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad you found the channel very useful. I appreciate the kind words. Can old women start cycle trading? Cycle trading is for everyone. Everyone and anyone. Can we dive into magic again? I don't know. Maybe. I watched for over a year before becoming a member, and your free content made enough money. I felt like I needed to give it back. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I do try to keep a level for people that can't afford it, or they don't want to pay. Or I know some people live in countries where their currency is really weak compared to the pound, and they literally can't afford the membership fee. So I try to keep it available to everyone. Are we going to get more alien stuff? Probably, but I just don't have anything to say about it at the moment. Try baby sign language. We've been doing that. Nvidia results. Yeah, I mean, cycles are in control, right? Cycles are in control. That's why earnings don't matter. A lot of people find that really inflammatory to say, but the macro doesn't matter. The earnings don't matter. Like, none of that matters. What matters are the cycles. And a lot of people, I think, find that really difficult to understand. But then they also are ignoring the fact oftentimes we beat earnings and the stock goes down anyway. And oftentimes we miss earnings and the stock goes up. And it's because it's not the earnings, right? It's the cycles. Do I listen to any podcasts? No, not really. I tell you what I do watch. I do watch Polarity on YouTube. He does like a lot of alien stuff. I watch his YouTube videos sometimes when I'm having dinner. I used to watch Joe Rogan many years ago, but I kind of went off that. You the man. Thank you, bro. What do you think of lithium? Not much. I don't really track it. BitTensor is just another altcoin. I have no idea what BitTensor is. Is that Tau? I don't know. What's my favorite pie? I'm pretty indifferent. As long as they're done well. Fellow Brit. Okay. Thank you, bro. Well, there's plenty of... Someone's out here gifting memberships. Thank you, brother. If anyone got a free membership, remember to say thank you to Darak. Yeah, I think we should maybe end it here. How long we've been going for? An hour and 25. It's quite a long time. Well, thank you for all the kind words. Thank you for being here. I hope you found some value here. I guess we'll just wait, right? We'll wait for something to happen. We'll wait for a breakout, a direction to be chosen, and then we can head out, right? Then we can start trading whatever that direction is. If you're relatively new to the channel, just remember, like, the big opportunity comes at the end of this year, out of those 4-year lows. And that's really where the biggest opportunity is. So, you know, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, I only joined a year ago and blah, blah, blah. That's fine, right? But just put that focus on the longer term. I think everything would be fine. Remember what I was talking about, the risk management and the equity curve. That's super important. Can you have a free PDF? Yes, just email me. Do I still keep some skin in the chemistry game? No, not at all. I can't. Do you know what? I was thinking about this. This is such a waste of my time. I did like 4 years at college, 4 years at university, and then, I don't know, 6 years in total, 5 or 6 years in the pharmaceutical industry across 2 big pharmaceutical companies. And something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 roles, each one being a promotion. And in that time, right, I used almost no chemistry inside the industry, believe it or not. And here we are all these years later, and I can't remember any of it. So what a giant waste of time. What an absolute giant waste of time that was. All I really did at university was party. Loads of drum and bass and jungle. I remember that. But what a waste of time. What an absolute waste of time. So yeah, I don't really know. But no, I don't keep any skin in the chemistry game, unfortunately. But then how often do you use chemistry in the real world, really? So yeah, anyway, thank you all for being here, I guess. It was a giant waste of time. Yeah, that is the current, I think, common consensus on degrees. Bob Lucas said it could bottom late May if there's no big pump in March. Yeah, something like that. We could force the low early. But anyway, we will worry about that another time. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll come back tomorrow and do a deep dive because we need to check in on that. Other than that, I'm going to go and relax, I think, for the rest of the day and pick my mum up. Thank you to the people that sent some money. Thank you to the people that gifted some subs. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend. Lots of love from me. Cheers.